Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Welcome back to Listen Up. Just 12 hours after our latest video, got a pretty positive reaction out of that one. So, even though a little bit of a sad news about Nika Mule leaving, but a lot of positive news today from UConn defeating Providence in pretty orderly fashion, I would say, today, kicking off the Big East tournament for the UConn Huskies quarterfinal matchup. Let's get straight into the recap. Quite a lot to talk about. A lot happened in this game. And right off the bat, UConn had a great set on offense. They got Paige Bueckers an open three, and she absolutely drilled it. Next couple of possessions for UConn, though, they really struggled to get a good shot. Couple turnovers as well. Providence took the lead at one point, but UConn came back with 9 unanswered points to put them back on top. And I think kind of after the media timeout in the first quarter is when everybody for UConn settled down, settled into the game, got all the butterflies and nerves out for the Big East tournament, and they finished the quarter on a 14-3 run. Everything started clicking for the Huskies. Great communication on defense, just pressuring the Friars with double teams and tight defense all around. And the confidence level in offense was great to see. KK Arnold drained a couple threes. Paige got hot. She had 11 points in the first, and that's what UConn basketball is really all about. That's what it looks like when it's at its best. But Providence fought back in the second. It managed to get within single digits, but Paige Bueckers was not going to allow them to come all the way back. It was really Paige Bueckers' game in the first half. She had 3 of UConn's 6 made 3-pointers. UConn shooting 6 of 12 from the outside, finished the game from about 50% from out there. So hopefully that continues through this postseason because we definitely need to stay hot from outside if we want to keep this offense rolling. UConn had a 10-point lead going into halftime. Providence gained a lot of momentum towards the end of the quarter. A couple of questionable foul calls. Gino yet again having to get held back. But the Huskies losing their discipline just a little bit on defense. And unfortunately for UConn, the Friars continued their momentum out of the break, actually got within 5 points of UConn. It just seemed like UConn couldn't get anything to go on offense. And that's what I was worried about the most is these stagnant times on offense. It can't always be Paige and Aaliyah scoring every possession. Other players have to step up. A terrible scene for UConn 4 minutes into the quarter. Aaliyah Edwards took an arm to the face going for a rebound. She fell to the floor face down and started bleeding. It did not look good. She was not able to return to the game, but she did return to the bench in the fourth quarter and got a great welcome from the crowd. So that was a positive sign to see out of that. But we're obviously hoping for the best for Aaliyah. Yeah, I just I don't know what to say about these injuries anymore. But a more positive note, Paige Bueckers could not be stopped in this game and willed UConn forward the whole way. And I want to give kudos real quick to Aaron Bath and this Providence team. They stayed with UConn for a majority of the game until the fourth quarter. It kind of got out of hand, but in just their first season coaching Providence, Bath has lit a fire under this Providence team. And I think they're going to be a problem in future seasons. But I also want to give kudos to Ice Brady coming in for Aaliyah when she got injured. Ice played good, and that was great to see out of her. And it was really amazing to see the whole team kind of come together when Aaliyah had to exit. Everybody stepped up as a team, and they did look unstoppable there in the fourth quarter. Very good game from UConn all around. Final score, UConn 86, Providence 53, and the Huskies will play either Villanova or Marquette tomorrow at 2:30.
All right, I appreciate that, Ryan. And yeah, I can tell you who else is going to be a problem in March Madness, and that is PB Buckets, right? I mean, we've been talking about her since day one, and it's very it's a positive outlook for sure. It is very I'm interested, man. It is persuasive to me. I am persuading myself, and hopefully you and everybody else, that, man, this is the year that she could put on maybe the best show ever when it comes to March. Right now, we're talking about this Big East tournament right now. I get that, but it looks like for some reason, I don't know if you agree or not, that she's just primed. She's primed for this. And I say that because with confidence, and it's tough for me to be confident and say that because why? We're not going to hide this because of her past injuries, right? Because we know how Paige Bueckers, we know her reputation. We know what she brings she's box office. Like, who else used that term not too long ago? Box office, right? So, yeah, we know what she's capable of. Arguably the best player in the nation, right? Up there with somebody else. But, yeah, I mean, with her injury or her past, her injury history that she has, it's hard for me to imagine, that she's just going to be able to run the whole show and just put the whole team on her back. She can do it. But now seeing what I saw today, I mean, not the whole game like you, but looking at the numbers and stuff and from the interviews, a lot of stuff trending right now. It makes me think so much to catch up on right now. Just think how much is going to be trending when March Madness starts. So, but yeah, seeing the pictures, the scores, the numbers, I don't even have to take a look at the highlights right now and smile to myself thinking, man, this could be the time that she is primed to really go off, Paige Bueckers, that is, in March. So we'll have to wait and see about that. Yeah, Ryan, now I'm not saying our subs are not important. Our subs are very important, but a couple trending posts that I want to go over with you to get your thoughts. Of course, Aaliyah Edwards leaves UConn's Big East quarterfinal, a game against Providence, after taking an elbow to her nose. Edwards suffers facial injury. So we just, not even, I'd say I loaded this about 10 minutes ago. So we'll say about roughly 15, 20 minutes ago, this came out. It says, and I quote, "We'll probably know by sometime this evening for sure." That's it, end quote. And that was Gino on the status of Aaliyah Edwards. But I mean, Ryan, in your own opinion, what you saw today, does it seem like that this is going to be a major impact? Because if so, oh my goodness, I mean, boy, oh boy. I mean, if she's held out at all, even during these last, 2 or 3 Big East games in this tournament. And then, of course, you have, about a week off. So that is good news. Of course, you have Selection Sunday on St. Patrick's Day, right? From what you saw today, does it look like a big concern, or she's definitely still a full go?
Well, I think it's definitely a big concern losing anybody at this point in the season, given how short UConn already is. And actually, KK Arnold didn't really get injured, but she got a little banged up there, I believe, with a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter. So Gino already took the 3 seniors off the court: Paige, Aaliyah, and Nika. And Nika actually had to sub back in for KK for the last couple minutes. So that just goes to show how short UConn is. But, I think UConn's going to be fine in terms of the Big East tournament without Aaliyah. Hopefully she can at least return. You mentioned the week off, which is definitely a positive for UConn, along with a lot of other teams. But hopefully she can rest up. It would be great for her to come back tomorrow. But if not, hopefully she can at least play in March Madness. I think that'll go obviously a long way. But like I said, Ice Brady looked great out there. So I think she could do pretty good against these Big East teams in the semifinal and hopefully in the final game. So I think UConn will be okay without Aaliyah in the Big East tournament. But for March Madness, hopefully she can return for those games.
Don't you think it's also important to remember that this was not like a gimme tournament? Like, yeah, UConn just has it locked up and that's it. It wasn't like a gimme to begin with. I'm guilty of it, actually. Like, I was just like, all right, Ryan, we just run through the Big East tour. I mean, no, man. I mean, even though there's not a lot of competition, men's or women's, as far as UConn goes in the Big East, I don't think that this was I think a lot of people was mistaken if they thought UConn was just going to run through this tournament. Even if they do, or do I say that because in this first game today for UConn in this tournament, you had UConn only down by 10 at halftime. Was that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you mentioned about Providence head coach Aaron Bath, she quoted, "There's not many she said, "There's not many weaknesses about Miss Bueckers. She's a magnificent player." So see all this stuff pouring in right now. We'll get to some comments in a second from our video last night. We appreciate everybody, every single person coming through on that video last night about Nika Mule and how that's going to impact the future of UConn. How about another one here, Ryan? Paige Bueckers spoke about KK Arnold and said she impacted every aspect of the game. Not only that, Gino commenting on the fact about Aaliyah Edwards, her early exit in the game. And then he goes on to say he kind of loves that it forced the freshmen to step up, though. Haven't we been talking about that all year, Ryan? When you really think about it, now I might be a little bit biased when I say this, right? I don't know if there's another team in the whole country currently that has had a freshman class as a whole, not just one, not just KK, not just Shade, but the whole class, the freshmen as a whole, to really have that pressure on their back and perform amazing like this UConn freshman class has. I don't know. You tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you can think of another team right now that has been able to do this. Just specifically speaking about the freshmen.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It was great to see KK have a great game. KK and Ashland struggling a little bit, along with the whole offense there, the last week of the season. So, yeah, it was definitely good to see KK 3 of 6 from three for her. So, yeah, like I said, hopefully, the whole offense can kind of keep this hot streak going, especially from outside. And yeah, it was great to see Ice come in. How unfortunate it was for Aaliyah to exit, of course, but for Ice to come in, obviously wasn't expecting to play 20 plus minutes today, but Ice Brady has, so much potential. And we said last night how we saw flashes of it. And it was great to see again today another flash of how great Ice Brady could be just battling down there. Got some great passes from her teammates. So, like I said, everything just seemed to click, even though, that unfortunate scene with Aaliyah, everybody stepped up, and that was really great to see.
All right, before we get into comments on the video last night, listen to these numbers. Let me just see your face light up when I tell you this. 29 points, especially this time of the year. Let me remind you and everybody else, Ryan, this is March the 9th. 29 points, 10 for 23 on field goals, 5 for 10 on threes, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals. And again, it's because if someone comes up to me and says, nah, I mean, any team at this point, even in the top 10, can handle UConn pretty easily. I'm thinking to myself, man, I go back to what I just said 10, 15 minutes ago. She's primed. She is primed, man. And again, if I'm Gino and the coaching staff, I would be honest with you. Now, I don't know a damn thing when it comes to coaching basketball. I can tell you that much now, right, Ryan? Ryan says, damn, all Phil does is run his mouth. But no, really, hear me out on this, because I know we're staying on longer than usual, and great. That's amazing, because I got a lot of stuff to tell Ryan. If I am UConn, and especially what I'm seeing out of Paige Bueckers, primed, ready to gear up for March, right? Are you really, if this makes any sense, let's get our basketball terms out and our basketball people. Does this make any sense, Ryan, to draw up game plans? Because other teams are going to take Paige Bueckers out of the game. That's what they're going to try to do. We saw it against Notre Dame. You know what I mean? We saw it when they faced Notre Dame. Are you really going to try to get that ball in her hands as much as you can, draw up that game plan that prevents other teams from taking her out of the game? I can't see them winning without Bueckers going off most of the time in March Madness. I'm just sorry. I'm not going to take my word back on that.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think Aaron Bath said it best about how unstoppable Paige Bueckers can be and how she's such a magnificent player all around. I mean, she really does it all. She won Big East Player of the Year, Scholar Athlete of the Year for the Big East. She really just does it all, and it's not just offense; it's defense, like we've seen never before from her whole career. Getting blocks, like you said, 9 rebounds today. So she does everything, to help her teammates, to help herself score. But I think it's good at times, like we saw today, for her to be selfish and kind of take control of the game. I think that's really when she's at her best, but she can definitely help her teammates get open as well. And I think we saw a little bit of everything today. So hopefully we see a little bit of everything moving forward as well.
All right, let's go over to some comments from our subs because they deserve it. How about this one? Let's go to Telly Lot. It's not going to be the same without you, Nika. I never rooted for a single Husky player the way I've rooted for you these last 4 years. You belong in the W, and we know overseas you will shine. You're making a grown man cry. Number 10 will hang for Sue, but part of me will think of you. Wow.
Yeah, and hopefully UConn can have a good run. Possibly, a cherry on top would be obviously the championship to end Nika Mule's career, and possibly Aaliyah Edwards' career too. But yeah, it's just Nika Mule never phases to disappoint me, or I'm sure anybody, when she plays for UConn. It's just always so much energy, so much fierceness that she plays with on the court, and we saw a lot of that today with how physical the game got at times. Sometimes she struggles to control herself out there with all the fouls at sometimes, but it's really good to keeping the energy up at all times for UConn. And we certainly do love Nika so much. And she struggled, I think, a little bit today in the first half, but really kept it under control and had a really great second half. So that was good to see from Nika today.
All right. Adam Edmonds, I'm hoping that over the next couple days, we can get big early leads so the Stars can get some rest for the NCAA tourney. Yeah, along with that, I mean, of course they need Aaliyah Edwards too, right? I'm sure you're aware of that. Everybody is aware of that. So I hope that she returns, if not for the rest of the Big East tournament. They need her for March Madness. That's obvious. But didn't she? Does she still wear the mask on her face, Ryan? And maybe that she'll need to break that back out. I just thought of that. I just thought about that right now.
Yeah, that's that's what I was thinking too. She doesn't
Yeah.
wear it, but she might have to moving forward. The thing is, if it wasn't the case today, but if UConn is able in a couple of these games to get, a 20-point lead in the third quarter or more than that, especially with Aaliyah Edwards out now, if she is out for these next couple of games, UConn is only going to have 2 subs coming off the bench and a
Mm.
max of 3 if Aaliyah is available. So not even all the starters are able to come out of the game, even if UConn has a 20 or 30-point lead, whatever it is. So it's a little bit unfortunate. Not everybody is able to rest, but it certainly is more easy and more calming if UConn can build these big leads early in the game.
All right. How about one more? Paul Singer. It's been a while since you heard from our good friend Paul. I hate that Gino playing KK and Paige at point over Nika, thinking next year over this year. Nika so close to breaking the all-time record.
Yeah, she's definitely close to breaking the assist record. She got 5 more today, so I'm not sure on the exact number she needs. It might be close to 20 now that she needs, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if she can break that by the end of March here. But I think today she struggled a little bit. Trying to force the ball inside at times to Aaliyah and ice. There's a couple silly passes, as I would call them, but like I said, I think she did really improve a lot in the second half. And limited the turnovers, scored some points, got some more assists, which, like I said, was really good to see. But Nika Mule has really showed us, especially with Paige Bueckers going out, how great she can be, kind of just controlling the offense, controlling the pace, and really setting up her teammates for success.
I actually have to. Whoa, this is disruptive. Well, in a respectable kind of way. I have to tell you this, Ryan. I have to read you this one. The disruptive one, bummer. I didn't want to play Providence again. I don't think. Well, I mean, Ryan, a good turnout. I mean, a good outcome. I don't think it was sad. It's time. Nika deserves a lot of credit, though. She was an overachiever. She was an overachiever. Never expected her to make this big of an impact at UConn. I don't see Nika making a WNBA roster, but I think she can be successful in Europe. That's what I'm hoping will happen for her. I disagree with that one. I'm sorry. The
Yeah,
last part of it, at least.
yeah, it's tough. I wasn't really expecting her to, it's going to be interesting for sure if she does get drafted. I think it'll definitely be in the later rounds. Of course, there's there's not many rounds, unfortunately, in the draft to be able to get drafted to a team. Of course, we're hoping that rises with the expansion, hopefully in years to come. But yeah, it should be interesting. Honestly, I'm not sure if she'll get drafted or not, but regardless, I think she could definitely have an impact overseas and elsewhere, wherever she decides to go. And yeah, I think like Gino said, it was her. It was really time for her to go. I think she did really all she could do here at UConn, and they really just said it best, kind of overachieving what anybody could have ever imagined. Nika Mule and the impact that she has left with UConn.
Washington Mystics take a gamble and draft her. All right, Ryan. I'm gonna let you go, and I will see you a quick turnaround right back here tomorrow. Final score again: 86-53. Huskies all over Providence, and a farewell to Providence. And again, like you said, a very great basketball team, but just not enough, obviously, as we expect UConn to go all the way in the Big East. And Ryan, just 8 days shy of putting on your green t-shirt. Also, Selection Sunday is what we call it. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.